The 6.7 Powerstroke is known for its reliability and luxury, but what is the most unreliable part of the 6.7 Powerstroke? Well, that is the CP4 pump. This pump is known for grenading itself, and when it does, it sends metal throughout the entire fuel system, destroying your injectors and costing close to $13,000 for the repair. But what is the best way to protect against needing an entire fuel system? Well, that is this disaster prevention kit from S&S Diesel. What this does is add an extra layer of protection in the system, so when the pump does fail, the filter catches the metal before it gets to your injectors and saves your entire fuel system. So today, that's what we're going to be doing in this video, installing this disaster kit and showing y'all how it works.
So behind me is a 2020 6.7 Powerstroke, and we haven't ever done one on this, a disaster kit on it. This customer came in, he just wants to keep everything stock right now. We're gonna go ahead and do a disaster kit and also change his crankcase ventilation filter. This is probably one of the most forgotten maintenance items on these actual trucks. It's actually, the crankcase ventilation filter is actually located, if you walk up here with me here, it's actually located right here. So this actually comes off and you slide this new one in there. There is a little bit of difference on the disaster kit with the 2020. I'm gonna be showing you guys that today in this video, showing the install, but here's the disaster kit here. So there's a couple different options. We can offer you a DCR pump. It eliminates completely the CP4 pump. That's not what this customer wanted to do. This truck only has 70,000 miles on it, so he just wanted to protect the original CP4 pump that he has on it. It's a more economic friendly option versus just installing an entire DCR pump, and these disaster kits do work, guys. We've had customers come in with a failed CP4 pump and they have this disaster kit on it, and it saved them from a fuel system. So these kits do work. We've seen them work at my shop. That's why we install them on customers' vehicles. So this is going in on this customer's truck. It's gonna be basically an extra fuel filter in the system, so when the CP4 pump does fail, it doesn't send metal through to the injectors. It'll send it to this filter first, and this filter will catch all the metal contaminants before it enters the injectors. What we're gonna go ahead and do is install this here. I wanna unbox it for y'all, show you guys what's all in the kit. The difference in price is huge. So for this disaster kit, it's only $400 for the part. A DCR pump is $2 grand. So it's about 4 times more expensive for a DCR pump over a disaster kit. So it's not always in the customer's budget to do a full-blown DCR pump than just install a disaster kit. So this is what kind of comes in the disaster kit. We're gonna be showing the entire install today in this video for y'all. There's one thing I would do to protect against needing an entire fuel system. We recommend a disaster kit just to protect against it for the time being until the CP4 pump goes out. I have a disaster kit on my 6.7 Powerstroke, and if my pump ever does fail, we're actually doing an experiment on that. We're gonna see how long my CP4 pump lasts before it fails, and when it does fail, we're gonna show y'all how it works with the CP4 pump failing and catching all the metal in this filter right here. So let's go ahead and get into the disaster kit install, and let's jump into it.
This is the main difference from 2020 is when they started it. If you notice on your fuel, where your fuel line goes to your fuel filter, you had this style. From 2019 and below, you have this style. So what S&S does is sends you with a little piece to correct that, because you no longer have a fitting like this on your fuel lines. So they go ahead and give you this little adapter where you're gonna put a hose clamp on it, and I'll show you exactly where we're gonna put that. We're gonna come up here and we're gonna put that right here on this fuel line, right here, correct? And we're gonna tighten up that hose clamp right there. You're basically converting it to 2011 to 2019 6.7. Now that makes the disaster kit universal for all the models whenever you just change that one piece right there on the 2020 and plus. So guys, if you have this style of CCV on your 6.7 Powerstroke, you're going to want to get away from this. This is actually a filter style that now Ford has got you to service. If you take these bolts out right here, there would actually be an actual filter. These plug up a lot quicker than what this baffle style system would. And this actually came off of a newer model. And since he doesn't have a sensor or anything, this style crankcase filter goes on a newer style Ford. I like to update these on the anything that doesn't have the sensor. First of all, it's a lot smaller and it's a lot cleaner. And you have the baffle style system. These do not plug up. This style will plug up and cause you oil leaks. So if you have this style, you're gonna want to pull that off of your truck and go ahead and get you one of these. I can leave the part number in the description if you would like to order it. This is another way too of seeing if your crankcase filter has never been changed. You got the injector IQA numbers on it, and obviously you can't take that sticker off and put it on this. This is how we tell if they're original. This truck has got 80,000 miles on it. Should have been changed about twice in my recommendation. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and throw this CCV on it and get them running.
got the upper and lower intake manifold off. We're actually going back on with this disaster kit here. We actually have a CP4 pump upstairs in the shop because we've done a couple of DCR pumps and we were actually able to remove this one. So we had a couple laying around upstairs, but I want to show you guys what to look for to check for a bad CP4 pump. We're just going to go ahead and remove this fuel control actuator on the top here. It goes in like this, so this is actually on the top of the pump, but you can actually pull this out here and it'll actually have the metal on there. So this pump was actually bad. I just pulled the fuel control actuator, and River, could you zoom in here on all that metal down there? See all that metal. All right, y'all guys can see all the metal in there, and yeah, it has also got metal on the actual actuator. So that's kind of one thing that you're gonna wanna check for. There's also a couple other things that you're gonna wanna check for on this CP4 pump, but this customer actually had a disaster kit on it. So that's why we only put a DCR pump on it, because the disaster kit saved his entire fuel system. That's why this customer is getting a disaster kit, because it'll save you from another $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, injectors, a whole new fuel system, dropping the tank. It's gonna save you a ton of money just by doing this disaster kit. This guy actually needed a fuel system, but had that disaster kit on it, so it saved him from a fuel system, and we were able to just put a DCR pump in. So he saved about $6,000, right? So he saved about $6,000 by having this disaster kit on it. If y'all guys saw all the metal shavings, that's one of the actuators that you are gonna wanna pull to check for the CP4 failure. If there is metal shavings, that'll tell you right away if the CP4 pump has failed. So this is one thing I also wanted to talk to you guys about. Every single year Powerstroke, 6.7 Powerstroke specifically, has the CP4 pump, and this is one of the good additives that we use here at my shop by BG Products. They're a well-known company, and we sell them here at my shop just because of how much we believe in their product. I run this product on my truck, and I have 205,000 miles on my 6.7 Powerstroke, and I have no problems with it. I also have a disaster kit on my 6.7 Powerstroke as well. This little bottle right here is $18.99 on my website, and it'll get you 8 full tanks of diesel. So just by buying this, just by paying $2-3 per tank, will save you thousands and thousands of dollars down the line, and it will extend the life of your pump by dramatically. Possibly, we've seen some people using this product that have gone 700, 800,000 miles. So if y'all guys want to get this exact additive, you guys can in the description down below. We'll have everything else linked in the description down below, as well as the disaster kit and the DCR pump where you guys can buy it. So let's finish up this disaster kit install and show you guys the final result. We just finished installing this S&S disaster kit. I'm gonna show y'all guys where the filter is. Filter goes right up over here. Here's the filter right here. It is the S&S disaster kit. This actually goes from the fuel filter, or it goes from the pump to this filter, so that way it doesn't send metal into your fuel system. I'm gonna show you guys how to prime it to fire it up, so that way it doesn't have a long crank. Yeah, it looks really good, looks really clean, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into it here, so I'll show y'all. How to prime it, you just tap the key one time. You do not press the brake. If you press the brake, it'll start it. So you press the key one time, and now we're priming it. So I'm gonna prime it for 30 seconds and then stop and then reprime it again, and then for another 30 seconds. I like to do it 3 times just so it starts up right away. Okay, guys, so I primed it 3 times. I'm about to go ahead and start it here. Starts right up. That's why you prime it, so it doesn't crank forever. Starts right up, runs great. Justin's up there just checking, making sure everything's good. And this customer should be ready to go. Now he's got a disaster kit on it. If that CP4 pump does fail and he comes back in here, he could just basically swap the pump out for a fraction of the price of a fuel system. So save yourself some money, save yourself some, labor and time and money and energy, and just get this disaster kit on your truck before it's too late, before you actually need a fuel system. You guys can buy this exact disaster kit in the link in the description down below. It's $400 on my website. So if you guys want to get it, it'll be linked in the description down below, as well as the DCR pump and the fuel additive.